What are the requirements to become a city council member in your city? The answer to that is I don't know, because I don't live in your city, but if you stick around, I'm going to tell you where to find those requirements and how to win an election to the city council. So grab a pen and take some notes. So we're going to cover three major things in this video. One are the hard and fast rules that you absolutely need to know if you are someday going to run for the city council. Number two, how you put together a political campaign. And number three, how you win an election if you decide that you want to do that. So if you're here for just the rules, stay with me because I'm going to tell you where to find them and what the requirements are. Here are the rules that are sometimes called the requirements. In most cities, you have to be 18 years old to run for public office. There may be exceptions in your city. Maybe you can run when you're 17 as long as your 18th birthday is before you take the oath, but you want to check the rule book to see what's possible. In some cities, they have what they call citywide at-large city council districts. In some cities, they have just council districts. In some cities, they have a combination of both. So what are the rules if you're running at large to the extent that those districts exist? What are the rules if you're running in a particular district? How long are you required to live in the city before you become an eligible city council member? And do you have to live in the particular city council district where you are running? Not all cities are the same on that one. Third element of the rule book is you need to know whether your race is partisan or nonpartisan. What does partisan mean? It means you live in the city where if you are going to be on the ballot, you either belong to the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, and that's kind of a cheat sheet for voters who don't want to bother knowing the candidates. They just know, okay, well, that's the Republican. I'll vote for the Republican. But in a nonpartisan race, voters don't get a cheat sheet. They just see names on the ballot. Now, I mention this because it affects your campaign strategy, and that's why you need to know how it's done in your city. Where can you find this information? These rules are written by your city government in conjunction with the current city council. It's part of the municipal code. It's either the clerk of the city or the people who run the city Board of Elections. That is the first place to look. Go to the municipal city website. Look for how to run for city council. If it's a good city, it's right there in black and white on the website. What if it's not there? Pick up the phone and call the city clerk or the Board of Elections and tell them that you're interested in running for the city council someday and you want to know what the rules are. They'll either tell you to come pick them up or they'll send them to you. If they don't know, try something else. Go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT what the rules are in the city where you want to become a member of the city council or what the requirements are. And ChatGPT may not give you a whole answer, but if you can look at the documents it cites as it tries to answer your question, it will give you a hint of where to go look. Those are the three best ways to do it. Here's the point about this. If you don't comply with these rules and you don't meet these requirements, you cannot be or run for a city council seat. It's just that simple. Now there's a second set of rules that I have to mention in passing here because these are also important. It's the rules about how you get on the ballot. And I got to tell you, some cities make this really hard to understand. Sometimes incumbents do that because they don't like people running against them. So you have to understand, do you need signatures to get on the ballot? Do you have to pay a fee to get on the ballot, or do you need some combination of some signatures and some sort of fee and check you have to write for your name to be on the ballot. Don't kid yourself. It's really hard to win an election as a write-in candidate. It is extremely difficult to do. So if you don't get on the ballot, you're not going to win an election. So look at that set of rules as well. So residency rules, the kind of districts in your city, and secondly, how do you get on the ballot? I've mentioned this first because you can't understand the requirements unless you check both sets of rules. Now, I just covered two forms of rules that you absolutely need to know if you want to understand the requirements. Now, let me talk about some unwritten rules that are not in the law books, but they are kind of a requirement if you want to run for the city council and win an election. One, you got to have some smarts. And how do you develop the smarts? Know your district. If you live in a small town, take the time to walk on every street and know what you see. Did you see a dangerous intersection? Did you see a kind of a rundown neighborhood? Is there a neighborhood where people are struggling a little bit? How does the upkeep of the houses suggest to you what the kind of income they may be making in that neighborhood? If you take the time to do that, expand your appreciation of the diversity of your city council district, and it makes you a more educated candidate. That is item number one, essential in any city council race. Second thing is, make sure you're well informed based upon conversations you have with people you talk to. The head of the nonprofit organizations, civic associations, maybe the head of the Rotary or the Kiwanis or the Lions Club. Talk with people who serve people in your city. Ask them what the problems are that they see. Inquire with them about how they would fix them if only they had the power to do it. That will also make you a better informed candidate. Third suggestion I'd mention here is you really do need to keep up with news in your city and in your city council district. And you may need to dig down. If there is a newspaper that covers what goes on in your city, make sure you read it every single day. If there is a neighborhood association that puts out a publication, read what they say. If you find a Facebook group of people in your community that go there to talk about issues that they're facing in your city, pay attention to what they say. Now, requirements of a city council member, a lot of them are unwritten, but here's kind of the bottom line. This is a job that's very close to people. You, as a member of a city council, affect the quality of life of people in your community. That means you're involved with fire protection, police protection, sanitation, water delivery, upkeep of parks, playgrounds. All of this affects the quality of life of people who live in your city. They expect you to know what you're talking about when you meet them at the door. So there are the formal rules, and then there are the informal rules that are, in essence, a requirement to become a city council member. I mentioned one other thing we were going to cover in this video, that you need to win an election to be a city council member. That's a requirement to be a city council member in most jurisdictions. And this video has gotten a little long, so here's what we're going to do. Beneath this video is a link to another video. It is titled, How to Run for City Council. And if you're serious about doing that someday, grab a pen, go watch that video, because I do a deep dive into how to do all of the rudimentary things you have to do to run for city council. Oh, before I forget, if you're thinking of running for office, I got a free ebook for you. It's called 12 Essential Steps to Prepare for a Political Campaign. The link is underneath this video. Download it when you're done watching this video.